What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring to all of you this evening. So what we're going to be talking about in this update is a little bit of an analysis on the Ortex short interest and utilization data. Then we do have to talk about those pretty awesome box office numbers for Batman, even though we aren't seeing it reflected in the share price. And then we're going to move on to kind of the bulk of this video. So we have Citadel and actually BlackRock as well, covering a pretty substantial amount of their short positions in a key area in sector of securities that I think is really interesting to take a look at. These institutions are not always getting things right. A lot of people like to think that these institutions at this point are semi-bulletproof, and that's just not necessarily the case. And then kind of expanding off of this, over the last couple of weeks, there has been more news coming out about what is going on in the aftermath of these hedge funds collapsing and what the Department of Justice and the SEC is actually doing. And honestly, the fines and the lawsuit judgments that these people are getting hit with are very, very substantial, and I think is really important to look at, just kind of going into this situation with AMC, GameStop, and a lot of these other short squeeze stocks that we suspect and kind of have a lot of evidence that there was a lot of manipulation going on, illegal manipulation going on in the trading of a lot of these stocks. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And again, guys, I'm gonna keep saying it because honestly, the results for everybody who has tried it out has been very, very successful. 1348. We are giving you guys free alerts on 5 stocks in the free chat. So if you guys do want to check it out, put your training wheels on before you kind of jump in and get everything that the Discord has to offer, the private live streams, the alerts on the 3-minute time frame on 350 stocks, the 4-hour time frame, crypto alerts. Then you can come and do that. But it doesn't hurt to learn the strategy. So AMC today closed at $15.21. Not necessarily what we wanted to see at all. So again, the overall market is going to decide price action no matter what anybody wants to tell you. Unless AMC is going to be making really big moves to the upside, it is going to follow the market. And again, when we take a look at this Ortex data over here and just kind of see how many shares that they have to actually use against us, well, there's 125 million shares on loan right now, but there's only 107 million shares that are estimated to be sold short. That's about 17, 18 million shares that they can use pretty much whenever they want to essentially try and push the share price down. So the shareholders, the people who are long on AMC and want to see this company succeed and the share price continue up in the future, it is going to be up to them, whether it be institutions or retail investors, to counteract all of this selling pressure coming into the overall market in order to kind of balance out the price. But on days like today, when the market is down over 2.5%, 2.5%, 3% on the day, it's going to be really, really hard to do that. Now, the utilization still at 100%. I still think it's nonsense. We have that same exact number that we see every single day of 1.47% average cost to borrow, but we still have about 20.86% estimated short interest. Now, coming over to the Batman over here, the Batman opens with blockbuster ticket sales. The movie took in nearly $250 million worldwide. In some domestic theaters, it was about $1 more for a standard Batman ticket than for other movies. AMC and their new progressive ticketing format. Now, a lot of people are going to be looking at this and saying, well, we got really good news about the Batman and the price is tanking. Well, yes, that is necessarily true. But when we take a look at what the market's doing, like I just said, the market is really, really pricing in a lot of uncertainty about what we have going forward. It's really just the market kind of dictating the moves. Now, again, it is not fun to see the share price of AMC go down. It's not. I mean, we are all long on it. We all have pretty sizable positions. I've told you guys before that I've taken the biggest bet in a stock that I've ever taken before, putting all that money into AMC. So seeing that money go down, it doesn't feel too good. But what you have to really kind of keep in mind is that this is going to take a while to play out. I know that may not sit right with some of you guys, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation right now. Are we going to see these types of revenue numbers and all the new businesses that AMC is really starting to kind of release into the public start to kind of filter into their earnings reports over the next couple of quarters? Yes, absolutely. Is the fundamental value of the stock going to continue to go up because of that? Yes, absolutely. But it's going to take some time for these things in order for them to fully play out. Now, let's get into this BlackRock Citadel situation and see exactly what they are covering in terms of their short positions. So BlackRock and Citadel rush to cover shorts as the Ukraine conflict sends defense stocks soaring. Now, when we come down a little bit further, it does talk a bit about BlackRock. BlackRock is a massive institution. If they have to cover some shorts on one given sector, they're probably making it back up in another sector that is actually increasing from these types of movements in the overall market. But coming down a little bit to Citadel down here, let me see if I can find this right here. Citadel's European arm covered its short of Italian company Leonardo, which makes helicopters and is a contractor on the Eurofighter Typhoon on February 10th, reducing its position to 0.42% from 0.69%. So they did cover some shorts. They are kind of feeling the heat of some of these moves. So what this really goes to show us is that they're not going to be able to hold short positions forever. And again, guys, I think Citadel's been labeled the big bad guy in this situation on their hedge fund side. It's not really their hedge fund side that is really going against AMC right now. It's the ability for them to kind of release all of those short exempt shares into the overall market, which a lot of people have been talking about recently, which is a really, really good thing. It's their legal ability to naked short into the market and have about 6 days to close out that position. But that's what the real problem is. It's not necessarily their hedge fund side. But again, with what we're seeing here, their hedge fund side is not bulletproof. Now, when we take a look at some of these hedge funds that have been having very, very significant issues, and they honestly don't even really exist anymore, we can see here, founder of collapsed $1.7 billion mutual fund was charged with fraud. In addition to securities fraud and obstruction of justice, James Velisaris has been charged with wire fraud and lying to auditors. Now, this is the Department of Justice stepping in right here and saying, hey, you did something wrong. We are going to charge you. Now, in my opinion, I don't really care a whole lot about what the SEC is doing. Yes, they can come out with some more transparency rules, but with the rules that are in effect right now, a lot of these institutions are finding ways around them, and they're just going to kind of pay the fine, pay whatever it is to the SEC. And honestly, like we've seen in the problem with Jon Stewart and some of Gary Gensler's comments, they aren't even able to collect on a lot of these fines. So the SEC, in my opinion, doesn't really have a bargaining tool or a negotiating chip or any leverage with these institutions. But the Department of Justice does. If they are able to prosecute these individuals individually and not kind of the company as a whole, like the SEC does with their fines, that is going to kind of instill a lot of fear into these people. Now, this individual right here is charged with securities fraud, wire fraud, and lying to auditors after the collapse of the $1.7 billion mutual fund. So this is a really solid step in the right direction here, that we are seeing that these institutions are not bulletproof. Now, when we come over here and take a look at Allianz, so this situation happened in 2020 when Allianz hedge fund implosion resulted in $4.2 billion charge. That was levied on them recently. So we're seeing that a lot of these institutions that have messed up over the last 2 years, Judgment Day is kind of finally coming here. Now, for AMC and GME and a lot of these funds, Belvin Capital and a lot of these other institutions that obviously have been kind of really manipulating our market, we have that new DOJ probe into short selling. But again, these things are going to take time to play out, and I really want people to be comfortable with that. That isn't me sitting here saying, oh, it's never going to happen. No, the short interest is still high. The company is continually getting better fundamentally. We are seeing the overall volatility in the market with this Russia-Ukraine conflict going on right now, dragging a lot of things down. When you look at this situation from a more broad perspective, well, it's not necessarily that bad, and the shorts are doing exactly what we expected them to do and what they had been doing for years. As at the current time, we are seeing them do exactly everything that we expected. So again, guys, hold on tight. Again, none of this is financial advice. If you do need to get out because of any financial hardship that you are having, nobody's going to fault you for that. It is your own money. You need to do what you need to take care of yourself and your family. For me personally, I am perfectly fine holding this stock for as long as possible. There's nothing that really any of the mainstream media can say, any one of these analysts can say to really get me to kind of get out of my position. I've done the research, I've looked at everything, I've seen the price action, and I'm not going anywhere. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. I hope you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well on your way out. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.